Is this motherfuckers losing their mind over ICE again?
The difference between anti-ICE activists and ICE is getting horrifyingly smaller, as after they use secret encrypted chats to train, plan, and attack US forces, they're now recruiting kids to walk out of classes and march on their behalf. In California,
I feel like the world is just so retarded. Genuinely. I feel like the world is becoming so fucking retarded where we're teaching kids to just stop getting educated to protest people trying to get criminals out of our country. What the fuck are we doing?
what looks to be teenagers are taking the streets. But in New York City, it looks like they're brainwashing their preschoolers.
My name is Dr. Canton. I am the director here at the Chloe Day School here in Harlem, New York. As today is a national day of protest, it's too cold outside for us to go outside and protest. Our teachers cannot walk off the job and leave our children unsupervised. So today, we decided in solidarity, we will support all those who are out protesting against the violence that we see and the harm that we see happening to our friends. What do we want to say? Stop the hating. Right.
They're brainwashing children from ages 3 to 4 to become anti-ICE. What the fuck are we doing? How about we teach them math? How about we teach them history? Using kids to promote your political agenda is fucking disgusting. This woman needs to be fired on the spot, as well as every human being in this room.
We want to tell people
enough is enough. Stop hurting people.
This is crazy.
And all the way back to San Francisco, they're doing the same.
Choose kindness.
Where it appears they
This is the problem with the leftist agenda that's constantly being pushed, is they make it sound so happy and positive and kind, when in reality, it's just mental retardation. I'm sorry. It really is. They're like, oh, being kind is good, right? Like it's like how little kids believe in communism, right? Like, oh, everybody gets everything in the world equally, but then you realize that corruption exists and it would never fucking work. Like, this is the reason why they push this this agenda on little kids and mentally handicapped individuals. Because if you actually were to think about any of these ideologies that the far left is attempting to push, you would realize how fucking retarded it is, right? Like, it makes it sound really nice. I believe everyone should be nice. But then it's like, yeah, but they're criminals, and we need to get them out of our country to make these places safer, right?
even escorted these kids to march out in the streets.
And this shit is so dangerous, bro. One little kid stops paying attention, goes to grab the rubber ball, and they get hit by a fucking car. Well, you should not have children leading protests. This is ridiculous.
Every single parent seeing this should immediately take their kid out of that school and sue them
They'd probably be better in a Somalian daycare.
for endangering them, as the adult to student ratio looks something like 20 to 1. Now in a closed classroom
Adult to student ratio, 20 to 1. It's kind of like an Epstein pizza party.
setting, that's perfectly fine, but marching alongside the street on behalf of a movement the kids will have absolutely zero impact over is so insanely dangerous and meaningless. I imagine that school loses its insurance tomorrow. As best case,
I find it a very scary direction where our political agendas need to be pushed so hard that we're recruiting children to push them for us. This is awful.
they capture some footage to gain clout for
They're using kids as their shield to push their political agendas. Like, do we not understand that we should just leave the kids alone, let them live their lives, let them eat their applesauce, their peanut butter jelly sandwiches, let them play their video games, and then once they're 18, sure, make them retarded by sending them to college.
the adults' social media accounts. Worst case, a couple kids wander off in the chaos and get run over. And over in LA, that's exactly what these students are asking for, sprinting out into the streets to stop ICE. And back east, it's even worse, as they straight block these icy streets. Now, at least in Georgia, when the kids tried to leave, they were marched right back into class. But in other
Nuts.
parts of the state, they're nearly being run over. As homeschooling has never looked smarter, but even school choice is equally important, where in some states,
It really is getting to the point where I believe homeschooling is the smartest option. And I will also go on record by saying I think college for 95% of Americans is a complete fucking scam. You're not going to get a degree based on what you got it for, and you're going to end up living a life in debt because you're going to be paying oodles of money to get an education or a degree that you pretty much don't need anyways. It works out sometimes, but for the majority of people, it's a massive fucking scam.
Your kid can either be forced into a classroom to receive an education, or be used as a useful pawn for activist adults.
Not saying every time, but a scary amount of people go to college, get a degree, and then never get a job for that degree and just end up having to pay $250,000 back for an education they honestly didn't need.
That are willing to sacrifice your kid for their amusement. I meant movement, but then again, both are applicable. As watching the walkout over in Stockton, California, somebody called out the school for doing this while having a 0% math proficiency, which is actually not an exaggeration. Just
That's
over
crazy.
1/3 of their students graduate. Only
That's
1/4 of them can
crazy.
read, while 0/5 of them can understand those fractions.
I also believe that math and reading is the most important thing. Science, don't give a fuck. Math and reading are the number one and number two things that your kids should be really locking in on. I could understand if a school didn't teach history and science, but math and English are so important for day-to-day life.
Meanwhile, the tax ban asks for more money for education, but they're not teaching the kids math or anything really, just how to be an activist. And when only 26% of them know how to read, it makes sense why it's so easy to get them to blindly run into the streets.
Bro, the amount of Americans that don't have a 8th grade reading proficiency level is such a shocking number. It's truly staggering to where you will understand why so many people will be brainwashed so easily by whatever opinion they hear first. They accept that as the reality because they don't know how to fucking read for themselves.
Which finally...
Like, people want to shit on Kai for reading, but like, bro, ain't nobody know how to read these days.
brings me to why I said anti-ICE activists are becoming like ISIS, as I think they're only putting the kids out front because they want something to happen to them.
Yes,
Even
they do.
though they deny it, we know these protests are actually riots.
Yep, they are waiting for ICE to accidentally fuck up, and that way they can highlight an exception, not the rule, as the status quo and cause more disruption in this country. And that's the truth. Because for every citizen that something bad hasn't happened to, one will, and then they'll say, look, they're slaughtering everybody in the streets. It's just not the truth, man. People paint these exceptions as the rules, and that is how they convince you of things that are occurring, things that aren't occurring actually are.
Local police are getting increasingly more aggressive with them, which is confirmed.
And the reason why they're getting more aggressive is because they fucking have to, man. Like, imagine if this shit happened every single time somebody got pulled over. It's like, you're just making a volatile environment for bad things to happen.
Be part of their plan so they can create flashpoint moments to rally about later. They tried to get it with that bunny ears hoax that was quickly debunked, but now all they got is a second idiot that might lose his eye, with someone claiming they were pregnant while getting pepper-balled in the stomach. And why would you go to a riot while carrying a baby? The same reason you would take a class of preschoolers to protest in the streets.
Yep.
Or a terrible person. You belong in prison, and the kids need to be taken away for their safety.
If you take your child to a dangerous environment like a riot, you need to lose access to your children. You do. They need to be rehomed for parents who aren't fucking retarded. This is a litmus test that everyone is failing.
But unfortunately, the left has gone so insane they'll never call out their comrades on this. As over in Portland, the rioters got blasted with tear gas. And some poor kid got doused with it. And even when the story got posted to Reddit to over 3,000 upvotes, the top post wasn't "stop doing this," it was "what to do when you inevitably get gassed." Once again proving her getting sprayed wasn't an accident, but part of their plan, that they're almost hoping to happen again as human sacrifice has become a core tenet of accomplishing their agenda. But police involvement in their injuries is rare. The bigger danger to these student protests are the other students. Weeks ago, the walkout in Minneapolis resulted in mass brawls between students. And back in the riots in LA in February, the schools also allowed the students to walk out, where tragically, a stabbing occurred, as the one kid ended up in critical condition, all in an effort to march against Trump's deportation plan. Why wasn't this gaining national media attention? Liberal school district marches the kids against Trump, only for attempted murder to get swept under the rug. It didn't stop a single deportation.
Awful.
But oh well, almost 1 year to the day, let the schools try again, except this time with preschoolers. I think every
Fucking
adult
insane.
involved in allowing this needs to be arrested by the feds. It sounds extreme, but what's the alternative?
You have to set an example, man. Anybody setting children up to be in the line of fire, to be in danger, should be locked up 1,000,000%. Not to mention, this level of grooming is disgusting.
Waiting patiently until a kid does pay the price for these
No, like any teacher who is attempting to push political agendas on children should be locked up immediately.
actually evil activist adults, as if they're actually successful in getting their human sacrifice. No matter what the actual circumstances are, the left will ignore all the inconvenient information and just say, this is Trump's fault.
Yep. And like growing up for me, and I know another, let's blame Trump for everything. Growing up is realizing that even I got groomed in high school. I remember being taught that white people were the only people to own slaves. I remember being told that white people went to Africa, stole black people, brought them back to America, and then that's how slaves happened. Now I'm 32, and I've done my own research, and then I realized black people sold black people into slavery. Slavery is still occurring until today, and white people were the first people to attempt to abolish slavery. And going back and realizing how much shit I was gaslit for and groomed into believing is fucking disgusting. And it's really not an exception. It's the rule. Bro, way too many teachers are way too comfortable in teaching a false version of reality in order to make themselves feel like heroes in their own hearts by grooming more children. And that's the truth. It's fucked, bro. It really is fucked.